Today's live stream. Oh man, somebody just asking me for the link. I don't know how to. I don't even know how to do that. Thing set up here. Oh, here we go. All right, so I think I found a reasonably okay spot here. Just kind of getting optimized. Like finding these more nature-y spots that are a little bit more private. This one's totally ideal, but I think it's as good as I'm going to get for today. So yeah, I started doing these videos last week. I felt inspired to try a new format that I hadn't tried before and offer an opportunity for people to come on and ask questions and help inspire me to find new information and new perspectives. Thinking about if I should turn around. I will at some point. Even though this background may be a little bit better, I kind of like not having to look at whatever activity may be happening around me. Because I can only pay attention to so much at once. Hello and welcome. I'm trying to find a good setup here, since I'm always finding myself at a different spot. I think maybe I'll go with that for a little while. It's like if I can have the rest of the campground behind me, it's more out of sight and out of mind. Don't have to react if somebody's walking by or something. Welcome in anyone who's joining. Just getting going on this live stream here, so feel free to introduce yourself and ask me a question or bring up a subject that you'd like to hear spoken on. There's a lot of different things I like to talk about, and I've been getting more into spirituality and channeling lately, and been having fun with that. And something about channeling is one thing that can really help the skill is to have other people asking you questions that are pertinent or relevant to it. And maybe for some people out there, there's something going on in your life right now that you would like guidance on, and I might be able to help connect to that guidance and relay it to you. So you never know until you ask or until you try, right? So it's actually starting to drizzle out here, but I'm planning on not being bothered by it, hopefully. And actually, I'm under a tree right now, so water is not reaching me just yet. I tried doing a live stream last night just as more of an experiment, as like a late night channeling experiment. And I also, instead of doing it from mobile, I did it on my computer with like a webcam and more of a proper microphone. So that was good for me to learn how to do that different setup and try a different time and environment. And I was to connect pretty cool energy in that one. And I'll be sharing a edited version of that video in the next couple days, because I connected with the beings known as the Tall Grays, and brought through a message from them. And I'm really wanting to continue to open myself up more to be more bold and courageous and explore different energies and different ideas. So it's always different people participating in these that can provide those greatest opportunities. Welcome in anyone who may be joining. Feel free to ask me a question or provide a subject that you'd like to hear me talk about. Otherwise, I'm just here surrounded by greenery in the great Washington state, Western Washington. It's a really nice time of year to be in Western Washington. I can't say I really like it the other 9 months of the year, but summer is a great time to be here. Would anyone like to share where you're from or what you're going through in life right now? Any special, unique circumstances or struggles or wins? I've been getting more settled into and comfortable with this traveling lifestyle, which every few weeks will lead me to a new location. A couple weeks from now, I'll be back at the ocean, and that'll be an interesting place to try and film from. The last time I was at the ocean was just a few weeks ago, and I really started connecting with this feeling of the energy of Lemuria, like that was like contained within the energy signature of the Pacific Ocean. But yeah, one thing I do really want to get out of doing these videos is gain the best audience participation that I can, because I really have a lot of fun when I have something to bounce off of. I find that, oh, it looks pretty out there. Yeah, absolutely. There's a great diversity to life out here. It's, you know, I guess maybe they could call it like a temperate rainforest. And there's also some activity going on in the background. You screw loose, why shy? I'm still pretty new to doing these videos, and sometimes it takes some participation from the audience for me to like really get into them and get on a beat. Otherwise, I can feel like a little isolated without that interaction. And is that Camp Crystal Lake? Watch out for Jason. I think the real camp is for kids only. They do occasional tours. Not sure I watched all the movies and love them. Yeah, I don't know if I actually saw any of those, but were those based in a similar part of the country? Is this? That'd be scary. I think I used to have some fear of like being out in the nature or in woods, or especially at night, but I've really this last year been able to work through a lot of that to where I feel much more comfortable being outside in the woods at dark without any source of light, kind of thing. Washington nature is very beautiful. Explore Washington nature live watching you. You're from India. So, what is it like living in India compared to other places that you've visited? I haven't been to India or um, or Asia for that matter, but I would like to check it out someday. Later on, when I feel more comfortable getting back into traveling other means. I'm really liking traveling in the motorhome now. The road tripping that can be done in the continental US. There's so many roads, so many miles, campgrounds, areas, states to explore. But it's been over 6 years since I've been on a plane now, and it may be at that length of time again before I find myself getting on one. In a camp in the 1980s, many of the actors were teens to early 20s, but now they are grandmas and grandpas. Very hot in the weather. Touch that tree behind, if not green screen. Well, this tree is that's like 25 feet away, but you can see it's not a green screen by doing this. So, and I think I did find a spot that's got a better upload speed because a couple days ago I thought I'd get creative, like going through the woods, but apparently the upload just crashed. So I've learned to check it out. Your illusion. Yeah. Oh, it's kind of like anything we see or perceive in the world is our illusion. Really, kind of make it into our own perception of how we want to see things, like the layer that. I mean, I'm sure some of you have experienced altered states of perception and just how much that can change how the outside world looks. Do I still have my motorcycle? No, I actually sold it several months before I left Aztec. And I'd like to get one again in the future, but it's not currently practical with the RV lifestyle. Not unless I had a rig to mount it to the back, but 4,300 people died in your city in the last month. Wow, is that like a big city, or was there some something that happened outside the norm? Rest in peace, Oliver Tree. Beautiful tree. Would you take revenge if a coyote kills your dog? Well, I don't have a dog, but I suppose that if somebody were to lose their pet to like a wildlife animal or to the wild, let's say, then I mean, those animals are just doing what it's in their nature to do, and I don't know if trying to take revenge on an animal would really do any good unless it was an animal that was posing a very large threat to people. But those situations have typically only happened when wild animals have lost all of their territory due to humans and have nowhere else to turn. Hello and welcome. Greetings from Texas. Am I hiking out here? I'm doing a little bit. This particular RV park has a lot of trails in and around it, and so every day I've been going out and walking a mile or two and picking a lot of blackberries and thimbleberries. There aren't too many blackberries that are ripe just yet, but there's so many overall here that it's really not hard to find them. And I think the thimbleberries are really tasty, although they're a bit more few and far between. I like to do a more serious hike out here, but it just hasn't really lined up yet. Mount St. Helens is not too far away, and that is a place that I'd like to explore. If a wild animal attacks your pet, it is you who has failed to protect them. Yeah, we really have to look out for ourselves and be smart. I don't think there's too much of a chance of us or our pets being attacked by a wild animal, if you were to break it down statistically. And sometimes there's also what goes with that is kind of a conscious, like a conscious knowing of your own protection and safety. Certainly people who are in fear of bad things happening are more likely to experience bad things happening. But it is also good to be aware of potential dangers that might exist. And anytime you are out somewhere and you get a bad feeling in your gut, it's always does well to listen to it, because that may be an indicator of something undesired lurking around the next corner. But I've found myself getting more and more comfortable with nature and the wild. But as I say that, I also am not taking on the responsibility of caring for a pet, and I don't really feel ready at this time to have that additional responsibility of needing to look after another animal, another soul or creature. It looks like a peaceful place to live. Yeah, this is I mean, really, my lifestyle right now consists of living in these RV parks and going from one to the next every 2 to 3 weeks, changing locations continuously and living nomadically. And I'm up in Western Washington for the summer, which is a more familiar place to me. It's closer to where I lived most of my life and grew up. But I have many more travels ahead of me, many different locations changing continuously, and I do really like the variety of experience that I can gain from having this changing landscape for myself, having such a large backyard that can change from week to week and go where I want to go with the season and the climates. See, bro, your camera very clear. Yeah, the other day I was going around this campground and I was doing internet speed tests for the 5G to see which spots had the best upload speed, and luckily I found a good spot for that, so hopefully it's good quality. Explore food, nature, campaign, You look like a good person. I'm not clear on my English. Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely get the gist of what you're saying, even if the grammar is here and there. But that's to be expected, because I feel that English is quite a difficult language in that it does not have the same consistency, especially with pronunciation, as other languages. Hello, and welcome. Yeah, freaking awesome for sure. I mean, I would recommend it to anyone who has the capability of breaking away from feeling like they're stuck to a certain location and traveling and exploring different areas and trying out different lifestyles. I've really been able to try out a few different kind of ways of living, and there's some pretty interesting experiences that those lead to, and it can kind of go to show you that sometimes we don't really need a lot of the same stuff that we're told, like this American dream that people are told about, you know, owning the house in the suburbs with 2 children and, you know, 2.5 cars or something like that. Sometimes the more stuff we have kind of takes away from the quality of our life rather than improving it. It is nice to have like a feeling of security, have our basic needs met, but there are other things that become sort of accessories that can really steal our attention away from what matters. Thanks for subscribing. I really appreciate that. I'd like to see this channel keep growing and the live stream interactions increasing, and you know, it's more I can do to connect with and help others and help answer maybe the more relevant questions in your lives that could really be meaningful and help each one in your own unique way. Much love and respect to you and everyone here in the chat. Yes. My husband would definitely like to travel like that for a while. He loves meeting and interacting with all the people he encounters. I feel like doing these live stream videos like this is helping me step up to getting more comfortable with interacting with people in person. I've always been shy, especially growing up as a kid, as an only child, and feeling kind of cut off from really being able to make friendships very well. And I recognize I have some work to do in gaining the confidence to be more outgoing, extroverted, and upfront, and to be willing to strike up conversations with others and introduce myself to people. Hello, welcome. Welcome everyone. Feel free to ask me a question or mention a subject you'd hear my thoughts on. We have some good friends from Canada that live the RV life, sold everything, and have been traveling for at least 10 years. Yeah, I have sold a lot of stuff, actually. Some of it I miss a little bit. Like, I'm a musician, and I've had a variety variety of different music instruments. And just in this last year, or about a year ago, I sold a trumpet, a trombone, a piano, a couple guitars. What else? Boy, I don't know. I sold a bunch of other stuff too. I've really kind of narrowed down my focus with it, and I'm trying to get into being more serious about learning acoustic guitar now because it's more practical for the traveling and motorhome lifestyle. But I do miss um, when I was living in a house and I had more space and sort of privacy, more time to myself to work on personal projects. There were things I was able to create, like videos of me doing uh, multiple parts for a song, multiple instruments, and putting it together, and becoming very creative with the editing and this sort of thing. Um, and I'm not able to do anything like that now, living in the motorhome and not really having time and space to myself like I used to. So it's been encouraging me to go in a different direction with a lot of things, to learn to be more comfortable spending more time outside, um, in nature, and connecting energetically with my environment, and getting more comfortable with being able to do the things I want despite not necessarily having that individual space. Seems it's been hard, right? Yeah, this kind of lifestyle of not staying in one location for more than 3 weeks and always moving on, and uh, being in different states and different months. There's things that are great about it, great experiences, but there's also a lot of difficulty that comes with it. In particular, the difficulty of having those consistent social relationships that many of us get used to living in a particular area. And that's probably been the biggest challenge for me, is not having those familiar faces to meet up with and hang out with and rely on in that way. And the difficulty of trying to meet anyone new when I'm only going to be in each area for a few weeks. I'm still learning the best way to overcome that. Acoustic guitar sounds perfect for the campfires. Yeah, it would be. I probably could do with having more campfires. It's something that well, there is currently a burn ban here. Although usually along our travels we could have a fire if we wanted to. It's just um, it hasn't really been the greatest desire for my partner and I, and sometimes I feel like my partner and I, differ quite a bit, and what it is that we want to be doing, what activities or what we want to be spending time doing. So find um, I find that I'm learning to be that I need to be very self-directed, self-sufficient, um, and independent in what I choose to do and when I choose to do it. Um, I would very much like to have that connection and participation of others in my journey and be able to hang out and spend time with others and share experiences with others. But it seems that unless that's something that's going to happen naturally, as in both people being drawn to the same activity at the same time, it can be difficult. Kind of like how it's difficult to concentrate when there's a random car alarm that started going off. It's funny because it sounds quite far away, but let's see what else is in the chat. Are you above Hermosa? Looks very familiar. Hermosa, is that Oregon? Um, I don't remember where Hermosa is. Stay motivated. You can try going applying to like work in a restaurant or something. Meet people and blessings might come from anywhere. Yeah, I would be tempted to go get a job somewhere right now, but given the fact that I'm only um, staying in a location for 3 weeks, I don't really know how I'd be able to get any kind of regular job. And presently, I'm just kind of trying to hold out financially until I'm able to complete this trip because I, I don't I can't really afford to just drive the 1,500 miles back to New Mexico right now. So, um, why did you go into the National Guard? Did I enjoy it? So, yes, it was back in 2012. I was 21 years old at the time and just like working, delivering pizzas, Domino's. I've been there a few years and I've been saving quite a bit of money because I had experiences a few times in my life now of having like very little money and having to really stretch every dollar. So when I did start working when I was 18, I really committed to trying to save a lot at the time. But I guess I got kind of stressed out or bored with things. I wanted to try something different. I wanted to step into like what I thought was a more serious career. And so I started looking into the Army National Guard. I started talking to a recruiter, and he kind of convinced me to do a certain job and a certain MOS, which happened to be 12 Bravo combat engineer. And I was taken to believe had to do like with engineering, like how people would think of civilian engineering, but really it's very much not that at all. It's basically glorified infantry, and they were just really needing to get more people to be that glorified infantry. And I didn't realize that, but yeah, so I got into that. I didn't really have very, like, it was a difficult experience for me because I felt like I don't know, a fish out of water or something. I felt like I really didn't fit in at all with the other guys there. Um, but I did it a few years. Learned to be a Bradley driver, which is a armored personnel carrier, and that was kind of fun, I guess, for a while. Like there were some cool times of getting to go to the shooting ranges and shoot like 50 cals and stuff, as well as the rifles. But uh, I was planning on getting out after the first few years, but I ended up getting called by a different recruiter at the last minute, and he suggested to me to try a different MOS. And after he talked to me a couple of weeks, he was able to convince me to switch over to being a 15 uniform Chinook helicopter mechanic. And so I switched over to that unit. They had a deployment coming up, and they were able to get me to go to the school to learn to be a helicopter mechanic, basically last minute, last few months before they had their deployment coming up. And so very quickly I found myself on a 15 months away from home of being in Fort Eustis, Virginia, followed by Camp Buring, Kuwait. but I had quite a difficult time with that. Um, when you're at the deployed like that, they want you to essentially be working 6 days a week, like 12 hours a day. So it gets really exhausting, especially with the temperatures that I think it got up to record temperatures over there in Kuwait while I was there of like 129 degrees. And, being in a hangar or at the airfield with the blacktop doesn't help either. So after I came back from that experience, I knew that I was not interested in re-upping and doing another contract or extending with the Army or the Army National Guard. But it was really during that time that I started to realize some things about the world that were not really as as I thought or as I had been told. And it was really after that time that I opened up a path of exploration for myself to explore alternative ways of thinking, alternative ways of living, and reading a lot of different books and kind of deviating from the mainstream. Catch back up here. Hello and welcome to everyone. Hermosa is Colorado, southwest Colorado. Oh yeah. So I was living not too far from there, in Aztec, New Mexico. So I should probably be more familiar with Hermosa, Colorado, but I can't really think of it too much. I might have passed through there before. I wonder if is it like close to Telluride, because there was one trip I took up to Telluride, and it was at the time. I remember eggs were $16 a dozen in Telluride. Just a random fact, but okay, if your place isn't far from the main town, apply for job in something like 5 different departments. At least one is going to work out. Yeah, it's just that if I were able to get a job locally somewhere, I would only be able to have that job literally for 2 weeks before I would be 100 miles away. Copter, cool. Yeah, I did really enjoy like the school. I really enjoyed learning about the Chinook helicopters, which are the big transport helicopters with the two rotors. Each one has 3 blades, and they actually they go in between each other as they both spin around. They go in opposite directions, to keep the helicopter from trying to turn a particular way. Um, and yeah, there's some very serious mechanical linkages that make sure that does not get off at all, because that would be disastrous. A lot of redundancy designed into those things. But I did really enjoy learning about them in the school. I did really well at the school and at the testing, but I really struggled with it when it came to uh, going back to the unit and doing the job, because the school only teaches you half of the stuff and it's up to your unit to teach you the other half of the stuff. But given that I had only gotten through the school basically 2 weeks before their deployment was going to happen, I really didn't have time to be taught the rest of the important things, like for instance how the unit handles their computer system with the matter. And I found myself really being kind of outcast, um, and it created a very difficult working environment for me that I was not able to escape until actually the last couple months of that deployment. I had went and took it up with my platoon leader, and he had actually, in response, he like totally agreed with me and moved me over to go work with the Black Hawk guys instead of the Chinook guys. And I ended up having a much better time with that. They were much friendlier to work with. You've always had a thing for helis. Yeah, I think helicopters are a really kind of fascinating invention, you know. And I wonder when, because we have all these drones now. I wonder when we'll see more personal, like human transportation that's based off of some of the same technology and mechanical principles as like the smaller drones that have become so common. Because I know like a lot of those things they have a lot of redundancy to where they're designed to be able to continue to fly even if they lose like half their motors or that kind of thing. Hmm. So I got to take a breather every once in a while and just, you know, let things melt away. Sometimes I feel like just that like hippie culture, like, whoa, man, like chill out. Yeah, one thing about doing these videos is I tend to feel, of course, this sort of pressure to keep talking and not drop the ball of the conversation because, well, I'm the only one able to speak this way. You know, much as I want this to be a conversation and a participation with the audience members, it's like up to me to maintain the flow of thought and material. And maybe I could look into doing live streams like with another person or have it be more of a conversation or dialogue, which might allow for a more relaxed time for me, more time to kind of process and feel out what I want to say or how I want to say things. What about embracing the gypsy and offer reading channelings in the campground? Yeah, I would like to learn what might be a good approach to that. Hmm. I'm not really the best with tarot cards. And when it comes to connecting with other people's guides, it's something I'm still kind of brand new at. Um, and really, these live streams that I'm doing now are a bit of a first attempt to try to offer um, a chance for me to practice that kind of thing. Put a sign outside your door. Yeah, you know, I might be able to come up with something like that. I know a lot of these places are really kind of uptight, like they don't want any kind of soliciting. But but yeah, there might be a way for me to do something like that. Hmm. Something to ponder for sure. Because even though I would really like this, like these live videos, like this YouTube channel or other social media to be able to work out, which I haven't tried to branch out to other social media yet. Not with this format yet, but it would be really nice to connect with others in person on this level, other people who are understanding where I'm coming from and seeking information and guidance for themselves. Practicing your skills is everything. Yes, so I feel like sometimes our ability to do a certain thing is simply up to us deciding to step into that role and to start doing that thing. I believe that we are really much more supported in the things that we choose to do, especially when they are things that involve or can involve helping others. You can advertise as free. Yeah. I guess I've got a few things to think about with that because um, like another thing I've done before with with being a musician, um, only a few times, but busking, where like you'll go on a street corner and play, and for tips or donations. And I haven't done that nearly as much as I did like live paid gigs, but it's something that I would like to feel more comfortable, confident in doing, in having that freedom to be able to put myself out there, largely when and where I want to, so long as it's not on private property. Learned that lesson the hard way one time. Um, and it would be neat to find a way to do that with spiritual discussions and channeling, to be able to do that live. Um, I think it's probably been most common where, like, I can think in say a place like Durango, Colorado. There's some metaphysical shops downtown, or some kind of spiritually influenced like coffee shops and that sort of thing. And I can think of there would be times where somebody would set up to do like tarot readings. Um, and I could come up with something that would be more of my own spin on that. And I don't want to say that I don't say that tarot or any other means that somebody likes to use, like crystals or particular rituals or stones, or I don't know, the whole variety of things, like tools that one can use. Like, it's like, I don't want to say that it's for show, but what I am wanting to connect with, like get in the habit of connecting with, is connecting with those same energies, that same information, without needing to have the what do you call it, the medium, the material. Because I find, like, if I try to do tarot, I end up not even really looking at the card. It's just kind of like I start getting told the information, and at that point, it's like, okay, what do I need the cards for? you know. Yeah, I do think that doing things free and without the expectation of like receiving a donation is the best approach until somebody can really develop themselves um, to where they can establish a particular value for their practice. And you know, y'all probably are right that I could certainly be finding um, some of these different ways to step up into um, different roles that I could be taking part in and playing. Hmm. And when it comes down to it, with that kind of thing, it's really just a matter of going and doing the thing. And you know, I was just talking about busking a few minutes ago, and how I never felt as confident doing that as like a live gig as a musician. And I remember one time my spirit guides were like really having to encourage me, like really having to push me to like get out there, get to the spot and do it and start playing. And as soon as I started playing, I was very comfortable with it. But for some reason, sometimes just that thought of exploring or trying something new that we haven't done before and putting ourselves out there in a way that it can make us feel uncomfortable and insecure. And I think doing these live videos is an example of something like that. That up until recently, I would have never felt comfortable with. Certainly, last year when I was making um, quite a number of videos for this channel, I had tossed around the idea of doing videos like this, being present on camera. I hadn't thought so much about doing them live, but I I never really figured out a way that I felt comfortable with it, and it wasn't until just this last week that it was like a switch flipped, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And sometimes we'll find something will seem really scary when it's just the thought of it, the thought of doing something we haven't tried to before. But as soon as we step into just doing it, it's like, oh, this is actually really easy, you know, and fun and that sort of thing. That's basically what coffee readers do. Aura reading is also an easy way. Yeah. So my ability presently is more clairsentient rather than clairvoyant. I would very much like to develop my clairvoyance ability, because I know any of those kind of abilities, it's a matter of practice. It's just a matter of learning um, that we are capable of perceiving beyond the, the range, the normal range of the five ordinary senses. Um, but yeah, maybe I could call it like a clairsentience reading or conversation, something like that. I really actually wish I could get into doing some kind of coaching or counseling, or you know, even like therapy, or you know, kind of a spiritually focused therapy, because I feel like I would be really great in that role. I'm just not sure how to find a a suitable way for me to do that, given that as a profession, it's very like centered within the mainstream healthcare system and behind licenses and regulations and that kind of thing. And I'm just nothing to do with that because I have so many beliefs that are counter to the way that certainly a psychiatry is done. You know, being focused on medications and trying to label everything as a disorder. It's, oh my gosh, I want to be like be like the counterpoint to that stuff, but well, just state to the person you state that to the person you are reading for. Yeah. I'll have to start looking, seeing if there's some metaphysical shops in the area or something like that. Yeah, there's so much we can grow by doing and exploring and trying new things and having the courage to step outside of our comfort zone. It can really show us more of ourselves as we are rather than just as we have prepared for a particular activity. I think there can be a greater authenticity to our experience and reaction to things when we're doing those things for the first time. And upon repetition, they become more of a refined act. Yeah, saying this is my style or the way I read. Yeah, I think if I were to get into that kind of thing, I would treat it more as an exploration, a conversation, a dialogue. I remember several years ago, I had a friend who I had met who was very in tune, more so than I was at the time. And I still had some emotional struggles that I was getting through and getting over. And he did a great job of helping me find the source of those emotional struggles simply by asking the right questions and continuing to follow the thread and go one step deeper and one step deeper. And I know it really helped over the course of those few days that he was spending time with me and doing that. But since then, I've not really had anyone like that give that kind of attention towards me. And I feel that as much as I've wanted to do that for others, it's pretty rare for another person to be comfortable with entering that state of vulnerability and letting another person in to ask about or certainly to share that depth of feelings, even though it could really stand to help them. I find a lot of the time people will automatically, as soon as they start to feel something more deep, they'll be apologizing and saying, "Oh, I shouldn't let myself become emotional or this or that. I could also start doing Zoom. Yeah, I'd like to do that. It's certainly an option. I just have to learn how to, I guess, do any basic level of marketing myself towards offering that. Um, and I just don't really know the clear way forward on that. I mean, I could be offering that, you know, on here. I could be putting it out there that, you know, I'm open to doing one-on-one sessions because I am. But yeah, if anyone wants to do a one-on-one session, feel free to email me, and you should be able to find my email on my YouTube page under contact, I think. So I guess that's something I could, yeah, PayPal and Zelle. I did actually start putting a PayPal link on the description of my videos just to offer an opportunity for um, if people want to donate. I would like to eventually reach that milestone with the YouTube channel where there's the internal system for that with like super chats and that kind of thing. But I know I have to hit 3,000 watch hours first, which is going to be quite a bit extensive. So, but I would really like to be able to make my a livelihood of some sort out of connecting with and speaking with and helping others. I feel like I have a great capacity to do that because I'm very empathetic and actually a really good listener. um, and I am getting more confident with my ability to receive energy and messages from spirit that may help others. So, really, now it's just me finding my way forward to something that can be sustainable. Not that it even takes that much because I've I've had no income for a very long time, and I'm having to learn to live off of less and less. But that in itself is valuable because I know that it wouldn't take much to be able to support myself. So I trust that I will find a way through. To being that level of independent, and having that level of security that I desire. You did fantastic on the little channeling with the Irma. Yeah, I've been really happy to see them come through the 2 times so far, and I know the video of the second time of them coming through from the other day. That's probably going to be published I think, tomorrow. And I'm always happy to make those connections and do those channelings. And I know that the uh, the different groups, different energies that would be channeled, they're always happy to connect and answer questions as well when someone is serious about wanting to feel and connect and learn from those energies. Your capybaras love my voice. Yeah, well, I guess now at least you're hearing the more authentic version of my voice, because I had actually, in those videos with the tiger avatar, I had very slightly pitched my voice down to fit the character a little bit more, because we can imagine the Irma as having a lower voice due to their increased size. But yeah, it can be interesting, the range of tonality that we can reach and achieve with our voice. Or like last night, I tried to do a different kind of live video, and it was late at night and dark, and I was trying to be quiet. But I had a condenser microphone in front of me too. So. Oh, that's good. Yeah, last night was more of a channeling experiment, and I was able to connect with the tall grays, or who decided to come through, and I did end up editing that video down. That's another one that I'm going to share in the next couple days. Oh yeah, I know. Too bad there's not a way you could uh, not a way you could share. Unless you upload your own video of them to like your YouTube channel, then I could check it out. Hey, they might be a hit, right? Capybaras. I do find it interesting also how like readily the time passes as I'm um, doing these kind of videos and live streams now. It really helps in a way compared to if I were just trying to create standalone videos. For whatever reason that is. I don't know, getting me into a rhythm or into a role. Wow, interesting. The grays. Yeah, they're uh the tall grays. So they're I think I would imagine them as being like 6 or 6.5 feet tall. Kind of maybe. Hmm, I guess I don't really know for sure what they look like too much, but there's a variety of them. But they're very smart, very loving, very connected. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't have Facebook, and I don't think I can have a Facebook. I actually tried I used to have a Facebook several years ago, actually about a decade ago, that I got rid of, and I think a year or so ago I tried getting a new Facebook account because I wanted to be basically promoting this YouTube channel and having other ways of interacting with people. And I was basically, there wasn't any way for me to do it. Like, they were not going to allow it because, for one thing, they thought my name wasn't real, and it was just, it was a mess. So I finally gave up on that. And I think Instagram is also, you probably have to have like a Facebook account to, I don't know. I'm not sure if, and yeah, I mean, I think I tried also like TikTok at the time a year ago, and it just seemed like after the first video that I published, they basically just shadow banned everything to where any video I would upload would not be seen by a single person. So it was like, okay, well, forget this then. Um, I have also uploaded stuff to Rumble before, but I don't think I really ever felt like that was going anywhere. So I've kind of just gotten used to doing YouTube. Although, now I'll be kind of trying to figure out how to connect with more people. Your identity got stolen on Facebook by scammers. Oh man, that that couldn't have been fun. Yeah, sometimes we have to be careful with what we share. It's just tough because, like, I want to be so open about everything, but you never know when somebody is going to try to use that against you or take advantage of you. I guess I'll see if try to relax and see if any messages want to come through. Maybe I'll kind of ask, because here with these live streams, I've kind of been asking other people to ask me a question, but maybe I could just start asking myself some questions and see what happens, right? So, what I would like to know about is, so far we've had this discussion of maybe some different ideas and different things I could do to start putting myself out there and to start doing this kind of channeling work more in person. And I'll go ahead and ask to my guides and other spirits who may best be able to assist me and inform me. Can you tell me or show me what is my best way forward to step more effectively into this role of being this liaison towards higher energies, to channeling information for people and helping create this stronger energetic connection with this divine energy in people's lives? The best way find your path among this is to gain confidence by taking steps one at a time, trying out different things. Be like the tree that grows in all directions as it finds its best path for each limb and branch. Do not be afraid to explore, to go out, go to town, walk around, see who you meet. Do not be afraid to ask questions of those in your immediate environment. Ask for suggestions. Allow yourself to be drawn towards things. Allow yourself to venture forth to where you are not needing to second guess your direction in every left and right turn that you make. The wandering that is available to you. Allow yourself to wander. This will give you a sense of direction of what feels good. Let's see. Definitely a change of perspective. It's on them. Yes, when you ask me, my mind just goes blank when it comes to ETs. There you go. Great question. Who came through? Well, this is it is the Irma coming through. They wish to encourage me because I've been a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to fully committing to being on Earth. For this part of me that identifies with them, I have been intimidated by people, by humans, by being on Earth, by being in this 3D matrix environment, in this version of physical, in this vibration of interacting with it. I don't feel comfortable like I did in the more familiar surroundings. I still don't feel fully comfortable being this version of myself in front of others or on camera. This version that has slightly unique mannerisms, ways of speaking, and postures, and expression, personality. It really has been an integration process to learn to feel at home here and to feel accepted, to feel like I have the strength and the courage to explore this environment, to go about this world and learn from it. And I am gaining the confidence to step foot out in the world as this more full version of myself, this more unique character, this sort of less human version, one could call it. But I recognize in that there is a great potential for work to be done by the difference that is created, the distance that the energy can work through. I appreciate you saying that I'm brave to go on camera, although it may just be you watching right now. But yeah, I have to get comfortable with being weird or whatever people think. It shouldn't matter, because I need to get comfortable with being me. And I have been told, and I do believe, that our uniqueness is our greatest gift that we can offer the world. It's like sometimes we just have to kind of say, like, F it, like, I'm just gonna do this or that. It's just you and the cappies. I do like being present when I feel comfortable to do so. I do like feeling more full and interconnected. I was gonna say more full of myself. Well, maybe that is maybe that is true. Like I think I think a person or a spirit having an ego isn't such a problem, but rather them having a fragile ego that can become a problem. So being more cohesive, more secure in oneself. In the Irma, yeah. What has it been like? Have you reached out to the Irma to speak with them? It's very cool, for sure. I would kind of say, like, whenever we really start thinking about, say we start thinking about a particular group, like extraterrestrials, or say a particular spirit or a particular angel, maybe, it usually is a sign that we are meant to reach out to them. Then it's like that connection is already being made. Oh, you've had great dreams. That's good to hear. Yeah, I know when the Pashas were establishing contact with me at first, they came to me in a dream, and it was really quite nice, for sure. I always appreciate. Whew, really, I always really appreciate getting those kind of connections and dreams. Hmm. You only saw the huge lion heads. Yeah, they are big. What did you feel from seeing them? But that was amazing and had this wonderful feeling of being loved. They are very loving indeed. I had heard from one person in an interview on YouTube that he called them the Lions of Lyra had come to him and briefly visited him, like in the physical. Like he was living in a place and got a message to like come up onto the rooftop of the building, and then they sort of just like appeared, but he could see them like as if they were physical, like standing for him. And boy, I would just really love to have that experience. Being able to connect with them again in that way would be um, is probably one of my single greatest desires in this life. Even though it may sound like something that is outside, like is external to this life or this world, it's like I really hope to have that possibility open up at some point. It was not fear at all, but maybe a bit intimidating, at the same time very protected. Yes, we need to trust in that we are protected on our path and on earth and over the course of our experience. There was very bright light around the heads, like a shining aura. Yeah. Feel like I'm feeling that in a way right now. That radiance. I guess I would like to ask the Irma, how can I improve my communication with you? How can I see you more? Connect with you more? See you in dreams and visions? How can I perhaps in the future see you in the physical? You're saying, how committed are you to changing your frequency of perception? How committed are you to letting go of distraction, of the things in your life that you do not prefer or do not serve you anymore? We can only each one is spirit can only maintain such a wide range of perception. This is something that can increase with practice, but opening up to higher energies largely takes letting go of the lower ones by finding that they are no longer serving our experience. and letting go of them. So you can ask yourself, are you ready to let go of? What are you ready to invite in instead? Would you like to shift your life experience in perception and awareness in a particular direction? And if so, what are your first steps? What do you want to become consistent with? How do you want to change your current life experience by simply making different choices, which then allow another door to open, something that is as of yet unseen? Yeah. You felt very safe. Yes. Thank you, Ali, for being with me on this live stream. You've helped encourage me a lot. And I'm glad to be sharing this journey with others. I think to kind of answer their question that they posited toward me about what am I ready to let go of, I guess what it really does come down to is for me letting go of spending as much time as I do on my computer or watching random YouTube videos. Particularly when there isn't like a focus behind that. And otherwise, there are some other improvements that I make with my diet to continue to get further away from processed foods, continue to eat, going out and cooking a lot of well, are there any other questions? I think I'm getting ready to wrap up here. But I thank everyone tuning in and watching. Oh, when you were asking your question, I heard the word fasting. Yeah, you know, among the things that we get in the habit of, one of the most primal and difficult to explore outside of is eating. And certainly when it comes to this idea of fasting and really even exploring perhaps much more deeply into that and from a perspective that is more open-minded in the concept that possibly as consciousness here there may be another way of living that does not involve having the kind of diet that we've been told or have come to believe that we need. And I would usually hesitate to mention this, but the person who I was mentioning before, who had the account of being able to see the lions of Lyra, as he called them, in the physical that time, he said that he was doing pranic living at the time, that he had not eaten for 2 or 3 months at the time that that encounter occurred, and that they specifically came to him and told him that they wanted to have a connection of doing transmissions, as they called it, with him. And so, like, this idea of pranic living or a breatharianism, this idea that of a certain few people being able to live without needing to eat food, it's kind of something that can shake us to our very core, because it feels like something that is so necessary, that is so central, so essential to our lives. Um, I did. I've done a few shorter fasts before. Years ago, I would try to do a 2 or 3 day fast, and earlier this year I did the longest fast I've done so far. It was 4.5 days, or 111 hours actually, and I've been considering doing another one, or considering maybe even doing a slightly different one where instead of a strict like water fast, I've heard that there are very good effects from doing a sardine fast, where you're just having wild caught sardines and extra virgin olive oil, the skin and bone ones, because they are so nutrient, like high quality protein and fat, that the body even um, accelerated fasting effects compared to um, just doing water fast. And I've also been considering that, given that I'm able to start foraging for berries around here, blackberries and thimbleberries, that I could really do a lot just um, by eating those. Um, so I guess the idea that springs to mind is, what if I were to do to simply try that combination, actually, even though I know that like the idea with the sardine fast is that it's ketogenic, that there's no carbs, and that obviously berries are carbs to a large extent. But it does feel like that may be a pretty good balance for me to try, and that you know, maybe I'll do that. Maybe maybe I'll start that tomorrow. See how long I can do a sardine and a blackberry or thimbleberry uh, fast. Try to go for like a week or more. That'd be something, right? Then I can report on the findings. Give me something to put another thing to experiment with. So, and probably the other thing I can do is I don't know. I need to find some way of not getting too caught up into like being on my computer or something like that. So yeah, well, I guess I will go ahead and wrap things up now. But yeah, this has been really helpful for me. So I definitely appreciate the interaction and giving me some ideas for things to try, ways to step forward, how to like take that next step, because you know sometimes we'll try a new thing, we'll take on a new thing, and then from there we can find another step forward that we can take to be like, oh, what if I this next thing or this continue to like go in this direction, go further this time. So that'll be the plan of exploration. So I wish yeah, thank you, Ali, for being here and participating, and anyone else watching or who participated. Have a great night.